when they go and interview these people at a Trump rally. It's amusing.
Hey folks, doing reaction to Cenk and Ana's James Carville and Bill Maher. Here they're going to attack voters. Says this feeling superior to these voters. That's what they put here. The title: James Carville and Bill Maher laugh about feeling superior to these voters. Yeah, they're gonna attack leftist voters and MAGA, like people in the middle of the people in working class people and anyways voters, leftists, MAGA voters. But strangely enough, well, not strangely, it's obvious. It's irony, but not irony. It's what do you call predictable. They're gonna defend MAGA voters, the Cenk and Ana. Well, you'll see here, folks.
And of course, they have somebody. Well, hey, Trump, grab my. And you look at it, ain't nobody in the world working within a mile of you. Don't worry. Nobody's going to grab that fucking. If they get through the fat wrinkle to get to it, I've got to admit, it gives me. I shouldn't do it. It's not. I do. You should never do it. My business. I should feel superior to these people.
Oh my God. Terrible.
I should feel superior to these people. That was the comment in regard to Trump supporters from longtime Democratic operative James Carville as he was having a conversation with Bill Maher on Bill Maher's podcast titled Club Random. Now,
these guys are neo-fascists. Come on. Like neo-fascists, or neoliberals. I didn't say they're fascists. They're neoliberals, folks. And these guys, these are neoliberals. They're not leftists, and they treat them like they're leftists. They're normal liberals. Like these guys are normal liberals. These are, I think, they're liberal elites, neoliberal elites. That's what James Carville and Bill Maher. So to just. I mean, they're surprised at their reaction. I mean, I'm gonna play it more, folks. You'll see.
The conversation was somewhat incoherent because while they, of course, clearly relentlessly mocked Trump supporters, they then went on to mock and criticize the so-called coastal elites. Let's take a look at that.
Oh boy, come on, commercial, go away.
There is a certain coastal arrogance in this country, and people feel it. Right? Yes. They just do. And you can't tell me that it doesn't exist because I know that it does.
I feel it. I feel it all the time. Yeah.
You're part of it, buddy.
Yes, there is. Yeah, it's a lot what we were just saying before about people have to be able to talk to each other even if you don't completely agree. The other person is not a deplorable. I get it. Like I would never. Some of them are. Of course they are. Some of them are.
Yeah, they're deplorable.
Yeah, that's
like Hillary Clinton. I guess he's a Clinton guy. So see, he's Clinton. He worked for the Clinton campaign. So Carville. So he's going, remember she said that line about deplorable, basket of deplorable. So Carville's going to agree with, he's going to think along those lines. Because he used to be run the Clinton, he was in the Clinton, well, he ran the campaign, Bill Clinton's campaign. And then he was in he was in Bill Clinton's campaign. He won the campaign, or part of it.
It's true. And some people on the left are deplorable. I'm sorry.
I find the left to be just annoying.
Exactly.
They're more than just not important. It's just annoying.
Exactly.
And the Western far left is habitually the most stupid, naive people you can imagine.
So that second clip, I think there are two differences in the groups that they're talking about, but they begin with the coastal elite, as they had previously engaged in some of the most elitist rhetoric I've heard in regard to Trump supporters, right? Attacking them for being dumb, mocking the way they look. And so it's just amazing to me how in the context of the same conversation.
See, I think Bill Maher hates the left. I don't think he left. He's not a so-called left. He's a liberal. He's almost like a conservative. He's more like a moderate. He's a moderate. Okay, he's a moderate white guy. That's what he is. These guys are just moderate. So you think these guys are? See, they think these guys are leftists still, and they're far. They're not even. First of all, they're not even progressive, and these guys are more like moderate, or even right. Well, I wouldn't say right wing. Carville's still kind of liberal. Maher is more going over to the right, it seems. So these guys, they get upset what they say anyways. They get bad. They get really upset with the things they say. Now it's common. If you're on the left, you should know that these guys are, Carville and thing, and they're moderate. They're like corporate Democrats. They support corporate. They're kind of corporatist, kind of. And they're more, they're moderate whites. Sort of liberal, slightly liberal, but moderate. And Carville, Maher's more slightly conservative nowadays.
They can basically carry out the very actions that they are critical of in regard to coastal elites.
Yeah. So look, I love honest conversations and I like kidding around. So I feel bad criticizing when they're trying to be honest. But I also have to be honest and tell you what I think they said wrong there. And yeah, it looks like they didn't really make up their mind or have a principled position, because on the one hand, you take regular people going to Trump's rally and you talk about how fat and unattractive they are. He said between the rolls and stuff. Okay. That's not how I would go after. And look, I'm not shy about going after Republican voters. You've seen me do it many, many times. I do it in my book. But I wouldn't go after them that way. So, we all got glass houses. And then they say, Trump can grab me by the P word, right? And he said, and Carville says, I wouldn't want to. That's kind of what Trump says. Remember, whenever he gets an allegation of sexual harassment, he says, look at him, who would want to anyway?
Yeah, he did say that. You're right.
You don't want to be like Trump. That's not a good look. And saying I feel superior. No, look, if there's a person, you just showed a clip and someone's saying something racist or sexist or something along those lines. It's very specific and obvious, right? And you say, yeah, of course I feel superior to that, because that's a hateful opinion and it's not open-hearted and it's certainly ignorant, etc. Okay, that's definitely understandable. But if you just say it in general, that's a terrible look, right? But then you turn around and say the problem is the coastal elites. But brother, I don't know anything more coastal elite than what you just said.
Yeah, he's a coastal elite himself, Bill Maher. Man. This whole thing is foolishness. Now that I think about it.
So, make up your mind. Which way are you going with this? And so... But it is true that both corporate Democrats and corporate Republicans and corporate media are definitely coastal elites. That's definitely true. And they have a massive bias there. I don't mind them talking about that. We should talk about that with specific...
Yeah, that's the politicians. I agree with that. So far as a good take. I agree with that. The politicians are corporate... The corporate... you can say the politicians are corporate elites. Coastal elites.
Big examples, but a lot of those guys are, let's be honest, friends with Carville and Bill Maher. So I don't really know who they're complaining about. So now finally, when he gets to the left, it depends, doesn't it? It depends on if he's talking about social or economic issues. So if he says, you know what?
Social and economic issues. They didn't say anything about that. They just said the annoyed with the left.
Some portions of the left are annoying and naive. and you take, let's say, a position of, hey, everybody should be forced to say Latinx instead of Latino.
Oh God! Again, this Latinx thing. This is a talking point by TYT. I noticed that. Anything something like this about the culture wars. The argument is like Latin bringing up Latinx or even pronouns, just like with Anna with birthing persons. That's another one they get triggered by. They always bring something like that up. I mean, no one's talking about that. I mean, when he left the show, no one's talking about that now. I mean, I've been to other leftist shows and I saw them, like they're not really, that's not the issue. I mean, something like this. It's one thing that AOC said something, she mentioned Latinx. But no, I don't know anybody calls themselves Latinx. I mean, yeah, some do, but the thing is, they could call themselves. I don't know what's the big deal if they want to be called Latinx. So why should you? Should they call? Should they? Should they want to be called what they want to be called? Like they shouldn't be called Latinx because you say so. I mean.
Tina, right? Okay, I can see how that fits that description. And even if you don't agree that that's annoying or wrong, it's not a crazy opinion to think that that's annoying or wrong.
Definitely
right?
Not a crazy opinion.
So, yeah.
It is a crazy opinion. It's not annoying. My God. It's stupidness. It's nothing. It's why you get triggered by that, then something is wrong. It is crazy. It's a crazy opinion to be. I mean, I think Anna's more triggered by that than Cenk is. It's a crazy opinion, folks. Latinx, and there's I think it's more than that. I don't think it's more than that. I think it's a transgender thing that they're annoyed with. I think Bill Maher is annoyed with that. No, he said they're deplorable. Bill Maher said they're deplorable though. They're also deplorable. And I think it's a transgender thing. And I think it's not propaganda. Not propaganda, but the criminal justice thing. I think they're annoyed. I think other stuff they're annoyed by. I think they're just annoyed by progressive ideas. I don't think it's because of this. You're just speculating that's what they're thinking. You don't know that. I think in general they're annoyed by the left. And these guys are corporate stooges.
So that's totally understandable, and they've got to be able to criticize their own side too. So again, open, honest conversation, no problem. But if you're talking,
not their own side, man. They're not leftists anyways. So folks, I mean the corporate Democrats, DNC. Actually, James Carville's a DNC show, and he's a corporate Democrat. I mean, fair enough. I mean, so he's not on their side. He's not on your side, Cenk. But I don't know if you're on the left. Well, so-called left progressives. Anyways.
What about economic issues? And often those two think the same way about economic issues. No, brothers. The progressive left is exactly where the middle of the country is. 2/3 of Americans agree with us on everything, right? And so if you think that's stupid or naive, that's just you working for corporate America. So
yeah, that's what they think. That's what they're thinking about, folks. They're not thinking. See, that's what they think. See, once you say that that's okay. So I understand what he said now. You realize he said, but they're saying that the reason why they said the left is annoying because of the cultural wars, but they never mentioned that. But I don't think it's the cultural wars. I think it's in general. They're just they're annoyed with the left. They don't like the left. They don't like the progressive left, actually. I think the whole thing they're annoyed with. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think it's because of the stupidness like Latinx pronouns or whatever. Maybe the trans issue they don't like. But I think in general, I think the whole thing they don't like. They don't like, you know what I mean? Medicare for all the economic issues they don't like. They think it's going too far. That's what they think. This is Carville thinks they think it's going too far. You know what I mean? I think it's spending too much money. And they say that too sometimes. And if you listen to them, they worry about how much, it's going to cost us how much money spending all this stuff. Because I mean, when they build back better, they're worried about, they're the ones who are saying that there's so much money is being spent, we're going to all this money. They sound like Republicans. When Biden was doing they're debating build back better, they're going to pass that. Or they're trying to pass that. And they're the ones who are saying that it's gonna cost such and such, the economy, blah blah blah. They sound like the Republicans. Yeah, so I think that in general they don't like spending. They don't like the left. They're like moderate leftists or liberals or whatever you could call them. They're not really. I mean,
be a little bit clearer in your attacks. I don't mind, like I've now said 3 times, it's great that you're having an honest conversation, but you should figure out who you're actually trying to attack, and more importantly, come with receipts if you're criticizing in that fashion.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Look, I think the reason why the arguments made here seemed incoherent and like hypocritical is because of the fact that we have to acknowledge that in both political parties, there are gradations, right? So I think even among Trump supporters, right, about 30% of them in poll after poll support some of the worst things that he wanted to do, wants to do. They support him no matter what. They don't care about any potential criminality he engaged in. They just support him. They're loyalists to him and they love everything that he espouses. But the rest of the Republican voting base, right, I think there are gradations. And so to just lump them all together as if every single one of those voters is exactly the same and they're all bad, I think would be a giant mistake. Same with the left. Think about the giant tent that the Democratic Party,
the so-called left, but some of the left are not really left. So
represents. There are so many different.
It's more like moderate whites, or moderates. Yeah, the moderate white, the white left. A lot of them are moderate whites. You know what I mean? Especially in these so-called leftist shows, these media influencers, like the Young Turks, and Young Turks is going to more moderate. So slowly, day by day, they're going to more of the moderate side of the Overton window, I guess.
Different groups within the Democratic Party that I don't agree with on many issues. You get what I'm saying?
Before that, especially the propaganda. You don't agree with the propaganda and anti-war. Oh, she's part of the NATO left. But in fairness, they're kind of reasonable with they can trying to be reasonable on foreign policy. But some on the left they're not reasonable at all. You think Putin's a good guy? He's not a good guy. So there's no good guys here. U.S. or Putin. No good guys. But the so-called left, yeah. Big tent. You want to have some of those are not leftists. We're not part of the left. What happened here?
So when they were attacking the coastal elites, they at first started with the arrogance of the coastal elites, which I believe is true, and then they kind of moved on to leftists. And when they say, "Oh, I find them annoying," they're specifically talking about the scoldy nature and like
We
the
think.
language policing.
No, they're not talking about that. You think they're not talking about that. I think they're talking about everything. It's golden nature, wow. Oh my God. Yeah, this girl's, you're getting more terrible day by day. Oh my God. Anna, wow. Maybe you're trying to put words in their mouth. I don't know why. You think, you're just assuming that. You want to assume that. Because you don't like that, the scolding nature. You don't like that at all. That's why. If you called her out, she being if you call out as being a anti-black or anti-trans, then you get triggered. I mean, or if you have certain views like that, doesn't mean you're racist actually or trans, but you have certain views that are anti-trans or anti-black. That means you're called out on it, but you get triggered by that and unhinged. You get unhinged by that, and something is wrong. I mean, you have to take criticizings both. You say you don't want to criticize the left, but it goes both ways. You got to be criticized. You want to be strong conversations. I mean, so why not talk to other leftists? I mean, instead of just going over talking to having debates with right wingers, like what's his name? The guy, what's his name? That she had a debate with. I mean, why not have a debate with other leftists who disagree with you? I mean, who do this scolding? Why are they doing that? I mean, an honest, like simple debate, like and don't get triggered by what I mean. Anyway, they're not gonna do that, I guess.
We think, that was my interpretation of what they were arguing about. But the point I'm trying to make is that within each political group, there are subgroups. And
I don't think they're talking about that. I think these guys are just, especially Bill Maher, he doesn't like anything. He's just a corporate moderate Democrat. I mean, that's like yeah, that's what he is. He likes the status quo. These guys like the status quo. There's nothing to do with the cultural wars. Sure, they don't like that either. They don't like the cultural wars, but they don't like any changes, like big things, any like leftist progressive ideas. They don't like that. So I disagree. I think that's annoying to them. Like doing Medicaid for all and all this stuff. Yeah, because they're against it. When there's Build Back Better, they were going to do the Build Back Better. And that flamed out. There's one they were complaining about, all the spending. If you remember, folks.
I don't think it's right to judge the entirety of that voter base based on one subgroup.
Yeah, and look, just generally saying you feel superior at large,
super gross,
is terrible. Like, and it's also not true. There's people might not know a lot about politics, but they might know a lot about some other things. They might be greatly skilled. What do you mean superior or how? What does that mean? So I would like to think that I know a lot more about politics maybe than the average bear and certainly the average Republican.
Right.
But I'm being honest about that. But you put me on a camping trip and they're going to laugh at their ass off at what an idiot I am. I go camping plenty of times, still can't barely set up a tent. So we're all good at different things, and you looking down your nose at people isn't going to help at all. If you enjoyed this video,
okay, folks, that's it. So another bad take. He actually defends the magas and again trashes the left. And gave me I get another bad take by Cenk and Ana. So what do you think, folks? I'm out.